Alright, so today we're going out for a ride, and it's a GoPro day. So we're taking the GoPro out so you guys can get an idea and comparison between how the GoPro footage looks like. So this is GoPro, and after this ride I'm going to switch it to the AKASO V50 Pro SE so you guys can get a comparison. Both of these cameras of course have the ability to have a microphone plugged in. GoPro needs their adapter with a microphone, and the AKASO needs their own mic, but it does allow for an external mic to be plugged in. So we're gonna head out, and you guys can get an idea of sound quality and image quality as well as stabilization. So I do have both of these cameras will be set to their widest, and so we can get a better idea of how they actually work. On here as well, I have the little Telesin, which is a nice little add-on so that I can power the camera when I'm riding and ensure that it's actually on. So kind of a cool little addition for about 50 bucks. All right, let's go for a ride. Alright, just got some gas to fill up the tank. Always nice to fill up at such a great price. And we are going to be heading out. Probably going to take us about 45 minutes to get out to where we want to actually get into some decent roads for riding. So you guys don't necessarily need to hang around while we're doing that. Not overly exciting, so I'll just kind of zone out for a bit and you guys can check back in once we get to where we're going, because until we get there the roads are pretty much just straight, so not that exciting. All right, we'll come back soon. Alright, so we're getting closer. It's a little cloudy out today, but we're sitting at about 15 degrees Celsius, which is kind of nice. And it's just nice to be out on the bike. For those of us that are still kind of in a little bit of isolation, this is a nice break, because I know even for us, you know, we're working from home, we barely ever leave the house, and being able to get out on the bikes for a little bit is definitely a nice perk. So hopefully you guys that are watching this video also are getting the opportunity to head out on your bikes for at least short little rides, I guess. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, it's definitely nice. All right, I'm gonna continue riding. All right, so we're off the highway. You can see it's quite pretty over here, and getting into some curvier roads now finally, since we're off the highway. But the hope is we're not just here to show you the scenery, because as lovely as it is, scenery's quite nice, hopefully where you are as well. But this is just really about testing and getting a good look at the quality of the footage that comes out of these two cameras. So again, are you wanting to spend the extra money for a GoPro, which really you're looking at 2 to 3 times the price of the AKASO, and it really all depends on the quality that you're looking for and the quality that you think is good enough for what you're doing. Because I know a lot of motorcycle riders that wear an action cam or anything like that, or something like that on their helmet, and really they're using it just to capture the moment, which is kind of nice, and kind of like a dash cam, where if anything happens or they see something that could happen, then they can have it recorded. And at that point, is quality quite as important for you as a rider? Yeah, that's only something you can answer. But we're gonna continue kind of riding with the GoPro right now. And it's funny, I had the AKASO for, well, since it first came out, and it was probably one of the nicer cameras that I had, and I thought the quality really was great, and I still think it's great for a camera of that price. But when you can afford it, or if you can save up a little bit of your pennies so that you can get an actual GoPro, sometimes a lot of us are like, yeah, it's worth it. So for me, for instance, someone that does a lot of little video stuff, I do find a lot of times that extra bit of investment, and it's not as if you're going from, you know, an AKASO which is 150 Canadian dollars to like $1,000. You're going to probably about 125, 130 to about 300, 350, and because this is a GoPro Hero 7, you know, with the GoPro Hero 9 coming out or being announced soon, you would think, or I would think at least, that the GoPro Hero 7 series could possibly see a decrease in price again. And if that happens and we see the Hero 7 do a bit more of a drop, where it possibly comes in between that, you know, $250 range, then it's going to be a very, very serious competitor, even for those more inexpensive cameras. So something to think about, because I know I got my GoPro Hero 7 and it was some like flash Black Friday or Boxing Day deal or something like that, I can't even remember, and it was a price that was respectful. You know, it was something I was like, okay, no, I can kind of do that. That seems doable, and so I did, and I'm very happy with it. But I'm going to continue riding a little bit, and then what we'll do is you guys will see the switch to the AKASO. Hopefully very soon. All right, out enjoying my ride with the missus. Oh yes. Okay, I wanted to just, I'm back. That wasn't that long actually. But I wanted to kind of show you guys this. Just one of the nice features of the GoPro is that when you're riding, you know, with a lot of action cameras, you have to kind of bring your hand up here and you're kind of fiddling around and hoping that the GoPro or whatever camera you're using is actually recording. And sometimes you get home and you realize that you didn't record anything that you actually wanted to, or when you actually wanted to record, you found out that the battery was dead because it's been recording for the last 35 minutes and killed the battery. So I don't know if you guys can see it down here. Right down here I have that little Telesin, and I have it just with the Velcro strap that comes with it, so it's just kind of wrapped around my handlebar and my cables. And what's great about it, which I love, is it is literally all in kind of thumb reach, so I can just kind of snap back and forth here, and really the only two buttons that I'm hitting is the power button to turn it on, and you'll see the GoPro actually beep and power on, which is great. And then once it beeps and powers on, then you actually hit the, of course, red button here, and that is going to actually just start the recording. And then you just do what you do, record, talk, do whatever, and as soon as you're done, you tap the record button again, powers or turns the record feature off so that your recording is done. And the nice thing is you can actually see on the screen what it's doing. You guys can't see it right now, but it actually says, you know, recording minute 39. So that's a timer. So it's exactly what would be happening on the front side of this camera, which I can't see. So it's a nice little feature for me to realize when the camera is actually functioning. And then of course when I'm done, I can tap that button. You'll see the screen on the GoPro kind of turn on, because of course it powers itself off to conserve battery while it's recording. And then once it's stopped recording, you hold your power button down and your GoPro beeps and everything turns off. So yeah, it's a huge thing, because for the majority of it I can actually touch it all without actually having to really get my hands off of the handlebars, which is super nice because, well, it's safer for one, and I just like the convenience, and I like the fact that it has a screen on it, because once the screen goes dark on the GoPro, you really have no idea what it's doing. So you don't know if it's recording, and you don't know if it's not recording, and there's just so many variables. So yeah, that's a huge win. I'm gonna stop recording now because we're kind of getting into a little bit more curvy parts, and this is an area that I like to make sure that I'm paying a bit more attention to, because you may or may not be able to see it, but the roads are a little choppy, and on the inside is a little gravelly. So you wanna be on your game in here, because if not, you could end up in the ditch pretty good. So lovely little area, but it's not an area that necessarily gets a lot of road traffic, especially with things like street sweepers and things like that. So it takes a little bit of time for this road to become really super motorcycle friendly, but it is a lovely little road. Just gotta kind of take it at a respectful pace, I guess. All right, I'm turning everything off, and I'm gonna focus on my ride. All right, my friends, this is the last section of our GoPro test, and this is a nice, fairly fast, curvy road. My wife's going to take it probably a little bit slower because this is her first real curvy road ride of the year. So I told her to take it at whatever pace she feels comfortable at, and I will just keep up with her, just kind of hang out in the back. So she gets to go at her own pace, but definitely a nice little road. You'll probably see a fair bit of motorcycles coming up and down it. It's probably one of the curvier highways, I guess, in our area, and it's like I said, about 45 minutes outside of the city, so you don't get a lot of people coming out here unless they're coming out to actually ride on this road. So there's kind of has to be a reason to go out here. So when the video is done, just so you guys are aware, I'm not going to do my standard little "what did you think?" I'm going to just do a thanks for watching, because you guys can make up your own minds what you think this footage is like versus the AKASO. Is it going to be worth that price difference? But I think, you know, if you can afford right now the GoPro, there's such good cameras. They're just so nice. The stabilization on them is great. So especially when you're riding, one of the things I notice especially if you ever ride with a action camera that has no stabilization on it, you really notice how much bobbing and kind of swaying and vibrating that your head is doing to kind of counter everything. It's kind of moving all the time. So having your camera be able to do all that stabilization for you, so that you can it just makes that footage looks like it's super steady. Some off-road guys down there, I bet. That little trail goes all the way up there. Looks like it could be fun. Fun. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the GoPro, and really right now I think whenever you guys mostly see footage on here, it's with the GoPro. Sometimes I'll take the AKASO if I need to, and I'll mount it on the frame of the bike somewhere just for a second shot. Or a lot of you probably have noticed that I have an Insta360 and an Insta360X, and I use those two a lot as well, just to be able to set it and get all kinds of shots, because you don't have to really be super concerned if it's angled properly or anything like that. So yeah, the Insta360's kind of nice little cameras as well. But yeah, all right guys, I'm going to just finish this ride, and we will switch over to the AKASO. so back home, and we are now using the AKASO camera. So we switched over to the AKASO, and we're just going to do a quick ride here, kind of around the block. It's kind of all you guys, I think, need to be able to tell what the microphone and image quality and stabilization is like on the AKASO. So this camera you can get, like I said, depending, usually somewhere around $125 to $150, somewhere in that range. And I've got this on its 4K 30 with stabilizer, and on its widest. So they have a couple different wides as well, but this is its widest. So it should give you an idea of what this looks like, hopefully in comparison to the GoPro. I do know that as the outside sound gets a little louder, the AKASO mic gets a little better compared to what it's like when it's quiet. For some reason the AKASO has this, I don't know, kind of staticky sound where it's maybe it's internal sound control just doesn't have the ability to kind of compensate. It doesn't understand what volume to set the microphone at, etc., etc. Yeah, you can definitely tell when it starts to get louder, like here, the AKASO mic will sound a bit better versus when you're just kind of outdoors walking with the microphone. So, a little different. I'm gonna put my visor down. Should be able to get a good idea again of what the sound is like. And I've never really understood if it's the actual AKASO mic that's the issue a bit with the sound, or if it's the camera itself, because I've tried two different AKASO mics, they both do it, and I've tried two different AKASO cameras, so the V50 Pro and the V50 Pro SE, and yeah, they both do it as well. This guy's turning here, I'm not sure what he's doing. But yeah, like now you probably get some good engine sound, not a lot of static in that. The microphone probably sounds actually fairly good. Hopefully image quality is nice. I don't really know. I don't know if it's going to be quite as wide as the GoPro. GoPro really gets my whole front end in there in the shot, which is kind of nice. You get that like ultra wide for when you're riding, which I really like. But I guess we'll see when we get back. But look at the colors and the stability, you know, because is it keeping it as steady or steady enough? I don't even know. And I'm really gonna leave that more to you guys. Gonna come through here. Yeah, the other thing here now too is the fact that I know with some of the AKASOs, I believe you get the little like wrist strap on and off thing, so you can turn the camera on and off with the little remote. Now I don't use that because the biggest issue for me is there's no validation. So if you actually hit the button, did it start recording the AKASO? Yeah, hope it did. If you turn it off with the remote, does it turn it off? I don't know. And if the camera is actually off, then it won't actually turn it on. The camera and the remote both have to be on. Well, at least the camera has to be on for the remote to function. So that's a big perk for me with the GoPro, is that like today when I was riding earlier, whenever I would stop talking, I could use the remote to turn the GoPro off so it would conserve its battery power. And then when I wanted to start talking, I just use the remote again to turn the camera back on, and usually within about 10 seconds or so I was ready to record. So that's definitely a nice feature for sure. Actually, yeah, I don't want to be out here too long for you guys. Doesn't matter if I get really on the highway or not. That little section back there before the traffic circle gets you up close to highway speeds. So, and you can see here my speedometer, I'm doing about 75, 80. We'll drop it down into 60, you know, be speed friendly, you know, you don't want to be going too crazy. We were going to clean the garage today when we got home, and both Mary and I were just like, I'm tired, so I figured I'd just do this last part of my ride, and we're going to clean the garage tomorrow, I think. Come on, I hope this guy's not gonna be sitting here. Yeah, there's a bike behind you, guy. Let's go. Of course you're gonna turn right. Why wouldn't you be? Guy who's the slowest. Definitely going around this guy. Oh my lord. Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Holy jeez. You know, if you're going to teach your kid or something to drive, don't drive like that on the streets. Go in the parking lot and teach him to drive until he's confident enough to be out on the streets to do that. If you're holding up traffic where you're driving through around on a 50 or 60 and you're driving at 20 and 30, it's not safe for anybody. People, I don't understand. Like, until you understand how to drive, is it me? Should you be learning how to drive at like 20 kilometers an hour on a street that's... That last street there was supposed to be like, I think it's 80. Oh, me just frustrated, you know. Oh well, whatever. I got to accelerate, that's fun, at least. Alright, anyways, we're almost back home. You guys got hopefully a little bit of an idea of what this camera looks like, because again, it's a fraction of the price of the GoPro. And I think it's funny, you know, when you own a GoPro, you look at these other brands and you're like, they're not as good. And you would be 100% correct, they're not. But are they good enough? Are they, for their price, a viable option? And you know, I think for a lot of people they really are. And that's really only something that you can make that decision. So I'm pulling in. Here's home. And there's Mary's bike. Ugh. That's it, guys. Alright, I'm gonna leave you there. I'm gonna put a link down below to both these cameras, the AKASO V50. And this one here that I have on is the special edition. Now you can get the V50 Pro non-special edition. I think really the only difference between the two is that the special edition has 4K 60p. Now the stabilizer doesn't work in 60, very similar to I think the GoPro, but if you need that or want that, then it's an option. I actually never shoot in 4K 60 really because I want the stabilizer. So alright guys, I'm gonna leave you there. Actually, put my gloves back in the bike. That's where they should go. Alright, link down below. I will put, like I said, to the AKASO SE and non-SE, and to the GoPro Hero 7, and I might even put the 8. So if you're excited and have like want even the newer and better one, get the 8. Alright guys, see you in the next video. Later.